as you dodge the construction barrels this morning. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. That's part and parcel of life, you know. Everybody likes to complain about the roads, and then when they're being fixed, we complain that they're being fixed. There's no pleasing us, is there? 1320 WILS. And so, this $3.1 billion road funding plan passed out of committee yesterday. And I forget who was saying it, but there are no Republican roads. There are no Democrat roads. We all agree we need good roads. I think obviously the disagreement comes on how you pay for it, where you get this stuff. So out of committee, this funding bill moves forward. Rob Coppersmith is the executive vice president of Michigan Infrastructure and Transportation Association. We just say MITA because it's a lot easier this time of morning for me. Rob, we're glad to have you along with us. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. How are you today?
I think I'm going to be okay. Do you think, for the most part, like I said, there's no Republican roads, there's no Democrat roads. I forget who said that. It was just recently. But $3.1 billion, a lot of money. The contention comes from where are we going to find this? Where is it coming from? We're just going to be shifting money, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big number, and to be honest, the real number is 3.9 based on a public sector consultant's report. But this is a big step in the right direction if we can get this package through, or some sort of package. I mean, the House Transportation Committee took a big step yesterday in the right direction, and we'll get it down on the floor and see if that can grow some legs and get debated. And, you know, I just think it's a heavy lift for everyone. It's a big number. It's taken us decades to get to this number because we really haven't properly funded our infrastructure for decades. So now this issue's come to roost, and if we want to move forward as a state and have better roads and infrastructure, it's time to bite the bullet, really.
And here's, you know, we hear that a lot. You know, well, we haven't dealt with this. We haven't dealt with this. Why is it? Do we just kind of take for granted the road's always going to be there? Why haven't we dealt with this up till now, really?
Well, it's been a political hot potato for years, and I think that goes back to, and it's hard to fathom why, because I think you're 100% accurate. There's no such thing as a Republican or Democratic road. It's the philosophy behind how do you pay for that just seems to get us in a quagmire. MITA has always traditionally pushed for user fees. So the more you drive, the more you pay at the pump, those sort of things. We're in a situation where cars are getting a lot better gas mileage, so that's a declining revenue source that's exacerbated our problem and is forcing people to look outside the box and say, well, where can we get this money? And that's where the political part of it comes in.
And I wonder if technology, making cars, like you said, more gas efficient, and then, of course, the EV nightmare, it just kind of came on us relatively quickly. In the scheme of things, and maybe that's why it's kind of snuck up on us?
I think that, the awareness has been highlighted since the last several years. And because it's really, I don't think it snuck up on us. It's been ignored.
Okay, there you go. A better way to look at it.
It's kind of like when you drive in on your driveway, it needs to be replaced, but you're still driving on it. And sooner or later, that bill's going to come due. And every day you put it off, that job doesn't get cheaper to do. So we've gone through an inflationary period that's going to take a bite on, how much work can be performed. And fiscally, we're looking at a funding cliff that if we don't do something about it, our roads, we're making some progress on them. If we don't continue this progress, it's kind of like your driveway. It goes backwards rather quickly if it's continued to be ignored. So,
we're out of committee now, so let's head to the floor. $3.9 billion, a lot of money, and it's not one bill. Let's be clear. This is, I think it's 8 bills. So this is going to be taken apart with scalpels. What's the time frame here, you think? Go ahead.
Good question. I hope that it's short because, based on MDOT projections and revenue sources, we've got thousands of jobs on the line that will start disappearing in the next year to 3 years. We could lose thousands of workers, and the average road construction laborer makes about $70,000 a year. So these are nice jobs for young individuals that are getting started and trying to get married and have kids, and their first real job with health care and all that kind of stuff. And typically those people leave the state and find work that they know how to do. So we certainly want to maintain our workforce because there's just clearly a need.
We're talking with Rob Coppersmith. He's the Executive Vice President over MIDA, the Michigan Infrastructure and Transportation Association. So the 8-bill package gets out to the floor. The big thing is funding, money coming from, as I understand it, shifting some of the gas tax stuff, as you've mentioned. Where else? Where else we get? Because you're not going to get $3.9 billion out of just that.
Yeah, not to get too deep in the weeds, but I think the package out there would like to use existing revenues and maybe shuffle the deck and take some of our existing revenues in the state budget and clearly dedicate them to this issue. And that's where I think the squabble will come in to see, how that plays out. That's when you have a legislature that has to decide how to spend the state's $80-something billion, and they all have different ideas on where it should go. That's where the rubber meets the road. Pardon the pun, but
Well, I think it's a great pun.
Now there's one that just wants to do it with existing revenues, and another camp that would like to have some other kickers to help in sustainability, and that's not my debate. My job is to present the problem and provide good information so that the legislature can make sound decisions on how to move forward.
Rob Coppersmith. We'll leave it there, and we'll watch this close. And it's a problem that's been there for a while, and every state goes through this, I think, at one level or another. We just happen to be one of those. I don't know where Michigan lands compared to, say, Ohio, Iowa, that kind of thing. Do you have any idea?
Everyone compares us to Ohio and how nice the roads are down in Ohio. Their gas tax is 10 cents more a gallon than ours is, but it's been that way for decades. So, that's how they've been able to get traction and maintain their system at what I would consider a higher level, just because they've had more funding for literally decades. So, that adds up over time, and that's where, we would like to be in Michigan. I'd like to see us have a solution that puts us in a situation where we have a well-maintained and up-to-date system.
Bob, we got to get going. Rob Coppersmith, Executive Director at MIDA. We'll keep our eyes on this, and we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, buddy.